only curse word is the one that you don't get offended by, and that's damn. And in order for it to be a curse word, you have to damn someone. The other stuff, fuck, fornication under the consent of the king. That's what, hold on. Quit laughing, because we're programmed to think that certain things is funny. If fornication under the consent of the king, this is what it was called in British. That's British slang. Shit is the word excrement, which is one of the original words for the original God. Pre-dynastic Set was called shut. That's where the word comes from. You see what I'm saying? That's where the word comes from. Okay, then we have the motherfucker term. Well, let's break that down. In the concept of, when you're talking about the netters, Horus, in one mythology, being born from his mother is called fecundation. Look up that word, fecundation, where the son makes love to the mother. Now, this is not no incest thing. What it's talking about here is, ultimately, you are all connected to the divine feminine. What does a fallen angel mean, mythologically, when you take it off the mythological stage? A fallen angel means to fall into a physical body. So, if you have a physical body, which basically makes you human, let's face it, you're a fallen angel, and you are Satan. You gotta line this shit up. Do you see why the white man can give you a religion against yourself? You hate Satan, you hate yourself. Didn't Blavatsky tell you in the 2 volumes of the Secret Doctrines that when man curses Satan, he's cursing the cosmic reflection of God? She also says in the 2 volumes of the Secret Doctrines that Satan just means God in the physical. God who took on the physical body. Then goddamn it, you Satan. The word fallen angels mean to fall means he fell into the physical. That means you have a physical body. So we are the fallen angels. Now dealing with this is science here. You can debate me on this shit all day. When you become humble to your soul, and your soul will open up. We'll go into that particular science. Your own soul, that is the God. That's the mystery. We say it over and over, look for no other God to save you but yourself. You see, and these guys out here, when you go to them, and you ain't coming with them as one of them, then they make you their fucking slaves. You see what I'm saying? They make you their slaves. Sometimes I'll ask them a question, and they'll come back with some stuff. I'll be like, man, that's some bullshit. They say, no, you asked me the goddamn question. And I gave you what I wanted you. You see what I'm saying? So they do stuff like that. I'm like, well, wait a minute, this is some bullshit now. I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? But they'll play tricks on you. They got niggas in the Europe, but I can't have sex for a year. For some God. See what I'm saying? Some God. These guys, man, shoot. They'll screw everybody all over the planet. You see, but I'm just saying, but anyway. Well, they said that most people walking around in a perpetual dream. They're not even awake. So it's just raw senses, and they're just hoping they don't bump into something the wrong way. Although their eyes are open and they're talking like this, they are asleep. So it's the difference between a people being awake, and a people walking around dead and sleep. This is the Kundalini serpent that rises up. When you hear white people talk about be aware of the reptilians coming, the original reptilian race is a code word for black people because you have the original use of the Kundalini. White people have Kundalini energy, which is the spiritual fire that rises up, but when it gets up here, they don't have the black dot energy, which is the doorway to another dimension. So when this fire energy goes up, when it goes up and it hits this calcified because their head, because they don't have the doggone, because their pineal gland is calcified, and it hits this head, their body is just burn up in flames. It's called eternal combustion. There's a book out called Fire from Heaven. White people who burn up. Just kept on fire.
Documented. And so this Kundalini serpent is being baptized by hell's fire. You scared of being burned up in hell's fire. When you raise your Kundalini, the hell's fire raised you to the Godhead. Let you through the doorway. You see what I'm saying?
How you can start loving yourself. You start loving yourself by not identifying yourself with the physical body that you think you are. You are not your physical body. And I know what I'm talking about. In 2002, on October the 16th, I was sitting in the chair and I went to know self. That's the spiritual level where you go and you neutralize your spiritual self. So Bobby Hemmitt no longer exists, and I felt alone for a couple of minutes. But then I realized how stupid it was, because my soul was outside and my soul was identifying with its original self, and my physical body was just a series of illusions that never existed. So now if you can get to the point where you can devalue your physical self and every little thing that you hold dear in your life, including your family and everything, that understand that you are completely cosmic, you see what I'm saying? Then you can neutralize your ego enough that you don't have to be over here player hating on somebody because they bought a brand new fur coat. Right. It's just a series of events that never existed. We never existed. This is the ultimate reality that we got to say over and over, because at this particular time we're being judged by what is called the apocalypse of the heart. Your mate has to be on a certain level with you. Well, sometimes, because even when you have sex, there's a certain sexual energy. And if your mate is not on the same realm that you own, it might not take you down, but it can hinder you. Because when you have sex, the sexual union is a merge. So, based on a lot of homosexuality started creeping around doing 2,000 years ago, and mainly with also the Greeks and the Romans who fashioned most of the damn by what you call a byproduct of the religion, of their ancient religions that you had. They fashioned some of these. What happens is when you have this particular homosexuality creep in, they turned against all of the actual sexual functions and made you think that it's all bad. Lust is good. And let me explain this to you. Lust is good. The divine whore in ancient time, I know this is hard for you to fathom because you were so conditioned to understand what is called moral dogma. But what they mean by the divine whore, it's not necessarily talking about a prostitute, but it's also talking about women, spiritual femininity, where you would literally cultivate the spiritual sexual energy to raise your spiritual awareness. So when the homosexuality crept in, you see what I'm saying, especially when you talk about white Arabs, as a part of that too, based on, white Arabs and the Greeks and the Romans, they turned against the woman, so they made everything sexual bad. You see what I'm saying? They made it bad. And so you think that sex was only created for procreation. Procreation was secondary. You see what I'm saying? That's like giving. Hell, you're on the planet, you're going to procreate sometime or other, but that's secondary. You see, but the sexual act is a high spiritual process. So even in these days, you must somehow kind of way is to try to get your mate to understand some level of it. There's certain levels that even people dead can actually get to that level and be comfortable with it. As long as they have a general overall view and a love for black people, then you're all right, basically. If they truly love black people, then even though their conscious mind ain't getting with nothing, subconsciously their energy is still rising. Men and the church shut down the women by telling them that their virtue, you see what I'm saying, is to be obedient to them and to be discreet. You see what I'm saying? Based on these virtues, that's the highest level. You see what I'm saying? And it's a whole system that's put down to put women in slavery. And it's put down to stop the most powerful and only force there is for transformation. That feminine, raw energy. You can also take red meat, bloody red meat that you get out of the supermarket, and you can rub on all of your tires on your car. Just take the meat, take a slab of steak and rub the tires. Get as much as you can on all 4 tires. Buy your four pieces. And get it in your hand and rub the meat on all 4 tires. You won't get in no wrecks. You won't get in any wrecks. Rub it on all 4 tires, and you won't get in any wrecks.
The reason why you're going through these particular changes is because your physical body is the low level, but your spiritual body is now getting to the point that it is rejecting your physical body. Now let me explain this. What this means is, if you have a goal in mind, and you were an advanced incarnation that came back down here to be at a period of time and learn a certain amount of discipline that you can help your people. And 98% of everybody in here is that type of person. How many people in here want to know knowledge? First of all, raise your hand. How many people are interested in knowledge? If you're interested in knowledge and you love knowledge, for the simple fact 10, 15 years ago, we would have had to been out partying somewhere or in some church somewhere. For the mere fact you sitting up in a damn classroom on Saturday night lets you know that you are an advanced soul. Because if you weren't an advanced soul, there's no way that you would accept this. You would reject this just like the average black person. So you agreed to come back in the future and help your people. What is happening because now you have been sunk into slavery, or you have actually lost your mind and you now just regaining your memory. What is actually happening here is this. You had a contract that you needed to doggone fulfill, and you're obligated to fulfill that contract. So now what is happening is your higher spirit is the one that incarnated back down here. So let's say your higher self or your true self have a goal in mind. They want you basically to understand a certain amount of knowledge that is key for itself to wake up. Your soul wants you to understand a certain amount of knowledge that is key for your soul to wake up. But yet you have other agendas. And all of a sudden when you find these other agendas, no matter how hard you try, they seem to fail over and over and over again. You will understand that your own energy, your inward energy, is making a hostile environment around you because it wants you to liberate it by giving it the keys and the nourishment that can make it grow and illuminate. You getting this? So what will happen is it will actually reject the physical body. And so everything around you will repel from you. You see what I'm saying? You got some people that ain't about shit, but they don't never suffer about nothing. About like the white man. And some black people. That's because their souls are still too young, especially black people. We're talking about us now. Their souls are still very young. And at this particular time, by their souls being very young, they are still intrigued with this bullshit because they haven't gone through it enough. So they're intrigued with all the physical bull out there because they haven't been here long enough. But you are hopefully it's supposed to be you. No matter how much wealth you get, something is still wrong. Something is still not pleasing. And that is because don't negate your contract of what you're supposed to be doing at this particular time. When you really want to get these spirits to act, most of your anger is projected outward, but if you really want to get them to act, get angry. And a lot of times that's what really, because that's a lot of, see, what we're talking about here is this here. A lot of things that was encoded into the religions, I'm not talking about spirituality, religions of 2,000 years ago, that was to shut people down so that they could be obedient to society, so the Romans could rule, and later on, and different things like that. If you go to the ones prior to religion, and you go back to the ancient mystery system, you had these warrior heroes. Hero, the word hero is Heru. So you had these warriors, and a part of their messianic trait was to get angry. Same thing with fucking damn Morpheus. I mean, what's his name? He kicking ass in this goddamn movie. He ain't sitting back talking about Mary had a little lamb. I mean, Neil and stuff. And Morpheus. So, your anger is a combat, but on the other side, anger stirs these entities up inside of you. You see what I'm saying? These entities. And a lot of times when shit ain't working right with me, it's because I ain't got mad enough.